Welcome to the Whiskey After Work podcast. This is where booze meets business. I'm Doug Shaw, owner of Peach State Business Brokers and Advisors.
And I'm Melissa Hergert, owner of Brain Train Centers.
We are serial entrepreneurs that love to learn from other successful professionals and love to drink whiskey. Wow. We're here.
We're doing it.
Can't believe it. Well, first episode, the Whiskey After Work podcast. We had big plans with big guests, and now it's just us giving an introduction of who we are and why we're here. And yeah, this is fun. So I'm Doug.
And I'm Melissa.
And who's this over here?
Our producer.
Your favorite redhead?
Duh. Everyone's favorite redhead.
You know my wife's a redhead, right?
Oh.
My second favorite redhead.
There we go. You're my first favorite.
Yeah, Christin Henson. So, all right. Hey, let's tell some people about who we are, what we do, why we're here, and what they can expect from some upcoming episodes.
This is all your idea. You're making me do it.
You've been pestering me to do this for a long time.
All right. Let's tell them first how this all happened. How we met each other.
Wow. So,
such a romantic story.
Back in the days before COVID, seems like forever ago.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
I had been talking to my financial advisor, and we were drinking beers at Two Birds Tap House on the Square of Marietta. And we were talking about how sick and tired we were of the same old networking events and the same old people coming to them. And we decided to put together a networking event that was based around our love for whiskey and only invite people that we wanted to see. We wanted professionals and we wanted business owners and that. And so, so we started doing this on Thursday nights, like once a month. And we were just clipping along one night, having a good time, talking to some business owners and that. And in comes this crew.
Mm-hmm.
And it was led by you. And
Me.
It was like a mother duck.
Yeah.
And all the little ducklings walking behind her, and they were crashing our party.
I have no idea how I found out about this event.
I don't either.
I have no idea.
Anyhow. And then it's been all downhill after that. I was like, holy shit, this might be my spirit animal.
Mother duck, the spirit animal to Peaches.
Yeah, that was those were great events, but man, yeah, I mean, COVID really jacked us up.
Yeah.
We started, I think our first one was in July of 19. So we had several really good events, and we'd gotten up to like 35, 40 people coming to them. And then COVID hit, and then everybody's like, oh, what are we going to do now?
Yeah.
And what did we do?
We did some cool stuff. So I think maybe I heard of it because I owned a networking group. And so I would get out and try to network to bring more people to my networking group. So somehow ended up meeting you. And then, of course, all networking pretty much shut down during COVID and became Zoom calls. So, of course, we had to keep the tradition going of why we were actually networking, which was because we like to drink.
Yeah, but how was it possible that we were going to drink like we were doing before with the whiskey tastings and that?
Yeah.
And do it on Zoom. And I just thought there was no way. Right?
Yeah.
There was no way.
Yeah.
And we were wrong.
There
there
were
was
wrong.
a way.
Yeah, we got even more people, I think.
Yeah. Oh, God. Yeah. We had one event where we had a tasting room manager, Douglas Thompson from Poseidon, who we'll talk about a little bit later, too, because he's a great guy. I was texting with him today. He's from Poseidon and Obsidian Vineyards in Napa, and he put on a wine tasting for us, and we had 55 people from all over the country on a Zoom wine tasting. Most of them couldn't even get the wine
beforehand.
Yeah. And then they were like joining the wine club and stuff
Yeah.
just from his tasting. It was so interesting.
Yeah.
But it was it was crazy. And then I think your friend, the Urban Tree Cider, Jackie. It's her birthday today, by the way.
It is her birthday today.
So if you're listening, Jackie, happy birthday.
Yes.
we had a pretty good turnout for that. Now, that was a little cooler because we let everybody know beforehand, and because it was a local Atlanta cidery. A lot of people were able to get the stuff beforehand and taste it. And that's my wife's favorite cider now is the Urban Tree Wild Cherry. It's wild on Cherry Street. Yeah, she loves that.
They're a very cool cidery down in Midtown.
But yeah, so we kind of chugged along and we kept this thing going. And then when nobody wanted to meet still and we were like sick of masks and shit, we started doing bring your own bottle.
Oh,
tastings, that's really how this started. That's really how this started.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was the whole concept is if you come to this networking event and you bring a bottle of bourbon with you or a whiskey or whatever you're drinking, and that allowed you to get in front of everybody that was there and talk about you and your business and your whiskey. And then you went around to every single person that was there that wanted it and poured them a little taste. So you actually got like face to face with every person in the room. And those have really gotten to be a lot of fun. We did that one just last December, the week between Christmas and New Year's, and it was a ball.
Great time.
And then, so we've been doing a lot of mastermind groups and networking, but mostly the whiskey after work on Thursdays, like once a month. And then how did Christin Henson come into this? Christin, by the way, is our going to be our producer and our editor for this, so we really appreciate that.
23.
Absolutely. I mean, I met you when you signed the lease in Kennesaw in our office.
That's right.
You had the front office, and then
get up on that mic, Christin.
Get up on it.
All right, I'm gonna move it. I don't know if that's
okay. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I'm just gonna move it a little
closer.
There
you go.
So yeah, you were in the front office, and then you moved to the back and made it super cute back there. And you and Charlotte were living your best lives. And then things happened. The building was sold, and plans changed, and then you guys let me help you find your new office.
Yes.
Which is the cutest. And what do you call it? The BBB?
Yeah. Beauty, brains, body.
So perfect.
Yep.
Great location.
Yeah.
Amazing setup. Amazing energy. I mean, it's so cute.
Yeah. It's great. So, and then Christin joined our women's networking. Well, it's not networking. It's mastermind. Because here's the thing. We really are changing up networking to be more fun because networking is boring. And it's always the same old thing. And it's like, stand up, say who you are every frickin' week. Like, okay, I already know. Like, let's add some flavor and excitement to these networking. And so now even our morning groups, we have masterminds where we get to really just run the group as you always say that, we're the board of directors for you.
Yeah, when you're a small business, you need a board of directors and having other small business people to kind of bounce ideas off of and best practices, and that is kind of a big deal.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think it all just ties in together. And then when we could add these events once a month or once every other month with the whiskey tasting. And
that's the thing. I think that I've seen it more and more, and I'm hoping that people, have realized, one, how important it is to be face-to-face after COVID. And there's just no replacement for that, seeing somebody and be able to experience being around people and their energy and that, and learning best practices from other business owners. And I think we all learned a lot over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And, at least the ones that really kind of dug in and battled through it did too, for sure.
Definitely.
But, so, why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself there, Melissa?
Oh, me? Oh, little old me. Well, I own a company, Brain Train Centers. Well, I'm a mom first. I have 2 little girls, 4 years old and 12 years old. And I started my company back in 2000. When did I do that? 2013. And I own Brain Train Centers. We actually help people with their brain health. Yes. And I still drink. No judgment. Yeah. No judgment.
Well, how would you help somebody with their brain health?
We do what's called neurofeedback. We do a brain assessment. We record the brain activity, and then we provide a therapy in the office to help retrain the brain. So we work with as young as 5 all the way up to the elderly with memory issues. And it's been around since the 1960s. It's definitely a growing industry. My business is growing across the country, all the way from Hawaii to Georgia.
Wow.
Yeah. I love it.
Anything else?
excited.
I mean, what do you like to do? What are your hobbies? What do you do?
Oh, I like to hang out with you and Red, my favorite Red. No, I do like to, okay, so I go to this gym called Hot Works.
You drugged me there once.
It is so fun. Hot Works, you work out in a sauna. That's one of my favorite things to do. But for fun, I also really enjoy just hanging out with the girlfriends, and we go out and paint and like very creative stuff, things like that. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
What about you, Kristen?
Well, I live here in the Marietta Square, which is so much fun. I bought my house almost 5 years ago. And I just fell in love with Marietta because there's always something going on. And I'm going to turn this way.
There you
that
go.
better?
Yes, yes.
All right. Got into real estate a little over a decade ago, and through some ups and downs and good times and bad times, I found myself in commercial real estate right before the pandemic. Nobody really knew what to do on the commercial side, and luckily residential was blowing up. So I ended up working a lot of residential referrals, which was amazing, but I got burnt out. And I really focused on the transition about a year and a half ago. Started referring some of my residential deals to some of my residential agent friends. And it felt really nice to let go of that and get some of my time back. And, a few months ago, decided to jump ship over to Keystone with you.
Yay.
Yes. So, it's been a lot of fun, learning zoning, permitting, all stuff like that. I'm slowly becoming somewhat expert in multifamily, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I really enjoy that side of the investments. A lot of people want to flip houses, but there's not really a lot of room for that these days. So, it's nice looking at different ways to invest money. So,
Yeah.
that's where I'm at in the business, just chipping away at things,
So you got fur babies, right?
Oh, yeah. I got Jeffrey, who's my little
Joffrey.
corgi mix buddy. He'll be 12 this year.
By the way, I hate that term, fur babies, but I know that's the way you
It is
view
such
The
a
fur
dumb
baby?
term.
I know. But hey, look, she loves these dogs.
Yeah, yeah.
She
Yes.
treats them like kids.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
Jeffrey is my logo. That's Jeffrey right there.
Oh.
That's him.
Oh.
He's my ride or die. He's my number one. He had surgery about a week and a half ago,
Yep.
so he's still on the mend. But and then we got Marshall, the most handsomest golden retriever in the entire world. He's 2.5, and he is the most playful dog in the entire world. He's so sweet. He's been loving on Jeffrey, giving him lots of kisses. He knows that Jeffrey's not feeling
Jesus,
good,
that's so sappy.
but
Giving him lots of kisses.
lots of kisses. And then I was in the Jeep family with Melissa over here until last summer. And
Come on.
I traded it in
Come on over to the
for
Fords.
a 2022 Bronco. I absolutely love it. It's been a
It's pretty
game
nice.
changer.
It's pretty nice.
It's
I
all right.
cried saying goodbye to my Jeep. I did.
Yeah,
It-
you should.
it-
You should have kept it just
I
for
mean,
fun.
I had a lot of really good memories in that thing, but
Oh, I'm
2
sure you
dogs
did.
and the adventures I want to go on just needed something. I needed a bigger boat.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
What about you?
Oh, I'm just old.
You're old. You cook good food, though.
Yeah, and that's why I'm old and fat.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's why you're our friend.
I said goodbye to the corporate world in December of 19, and I have had my real estate license and dabbled in commercial real estate since 2005, and decided to broker businesses and sell commercial real estate full time. And so that was really cool, December of 19. And it was really cool in January of 20. And it was really cool in February of 20. And then March of 20. And I'm like, oh, fuck. And by the way, if you haven't figured out now,
We cuss.
yeah, this is definitely not for children.
Yes, disclaimer.
Also,
And if you get offended, don't listen anymore.
yeah, and pretty much the opinion of me is my opinion, and not
Yes.
those of anybody else,
Yes.
any of our sponsors, any of our guests,
Agreed.
unless they say so.
Yes.
And yeah, so I sell businesses, and just like so, Christin somehow or other became the multifamily guru. This is just out there. I'm turned into the salvage yard guy. Dirty land is me, and it's a lonely world out there, which is cool when you're selling these kind of things. So a lot of work, a lot of inner workings. It's a lot of knowing about EPA issues and what to look for, and again, zoning stuff, and how to get through grandfather zonings and loopholes and things like that. So it's interesting. It's not all that I do, but I do a lot of it. And I was just down in Cochran, Georgia today. It was like 2.5 hours away from here.
Yeah,
looking
nobody
at a
knows where
salvage
that
yard.
is.
It's in the mud. Yeah, it's kind of in between. It's on the way to Savannah. Yes, down
I love
16.
Savannah.
Down 16 outside of Macon, and it's in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a nice
How
little
muddy
ride
was
today.
it?
It was really muddy.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, like really.
Good for
like
you.
We got in the owner's truck, and he's like, "I don't think I want to get your." By the way, I got a Ford too, but I have a F-150, and he's like, "I don't want to get your shiny truck dirty." So we took his old beater Dodge.
Oh,
out there.
good.
Yeah, about
Good.
got stuck. But yeah, so I do that. And that's kind of my business. I do a little bit of consulting work with businesses, help them get ready to exit. People want to retire. I do a little. Honestly, I just do consulting work for whoever will pay me. So doing some work with a local vineyard right now, and a couple other small businesses, just helping them kind of get their sales in order and get their business ready to sell, or help them grow their business and get their sales moving. Yeah, I've got 2 adult daughters. One is going to graduate in May from Penn State University with her master's in acoustical engineering. She's already got a big girl job now, her adult job.
Cool.
Very cool. And my youngest one is a junior at University of Georgia. Boo. I'm not a dog fan, but
Jeez Louise, don't let
everybody
Terry
else
Abraham
around here
say that.
is. And she is an economics major, and would like to go to law school. She works for Publix, and she's been doing a bunch of interning with them in their HR law department. And then, as you guys know, you were over for Super Bowl when I was cooking stuff to make us all fat again. And I've been married for almost 27 years to my favorite redhead. And she's a labor and delivery nurse. So she often tells me that she has had her hands in more hoo-ha than Hugh Hefner.
That's impressive.
Yes. I love her.
She's a mess. And
She's awesome.
She was
resume
she was like, I
material.
called today and I was not having a good day. And she's like, "Oh, are you all right?" And I'm like, "Nope, not having a good day." And my podcast guest postponed on us, and I said, "But we're going to do an intro, and we're going to drink some whiskey, and you probably should just go ahead and make your own dinner tonight."
There you go.
So,
She's very supportive.
yeah, and so
We love her.
Yeah, I'm an outdoors guy. With the kids being gone now, I'm an empty nester. I've really kind of gotten back to hunting and fishing a little bit more. I just like being outside. I like to hike. I walk every morning almost outside. Can't stand the gym. I only go when it's like raining, and that's it. I mean, I do have a gym. I went with you one time to Hot Works. And,
And almost died.
oh, my God.
That was fun.
How in the hell is it possible you can sweat that much in 30 minutes?
Yeah, that's right. It's
Well,
good
there's like
stuff.
3 bottles of water in there.
Yeah.
And I still was dehydrated when I left.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
So hot yoga. And
Hot
you got to
yoga.
see it.
Yeah.
It was not good.
It was not pretty, I will say. It was not.
But yeah, so, we were talking about the networking stuff and when we did the Thursday night deals and the BYOBs, and we started talking about how we could expand that and how it was cool to hear from each person. And what I've noticed is when we do these, there's almost always one or two that get a lot of questions. They end up talking for like 10 or 15 minutes. And really got to thinking, hey, what can we do to kind of focus in on that? And so that's kind of how you and I came up with this idea. This was how it was born.
Yeah.
I'm not overly artistic. I don't think you are.
What?
No, I did.
I'm good at everything.
Yeah, but I don't know. Christin starts sending us stuff. We're like, oh, hey, this would
Kristen's
be
very good
and
at
you know,
stuff.
this would be really good for cover art, and
Yeah.
this would be really good for this. And then we're like, yeah, you're hired.
Yeah.
So-
Producer, editor, marketing executive,
something. Yeah.
everything.
So
That's
chief
Christin.
tequila
Executive.
drinker.
Yes.
Executive producer,
There you go.
Executive
Got everything.
producer.
the EP,
The
with no experience.
yeah, that's all right.
Yeah.
Most of them don't.
Hey, that's the thing about entrepreneurs. Most of them are winging it. You know, you gotta
Yeah.
wing it, fake it till you make it. Most of the time.
Yes. Now, we shouldn't do that. I did used to believe that, but we should not fake it till we make it, but be much more like find your niche.
Niche.
I hate that word. It's
I
a
don't know
weird
how
word
to say it properly, or if
Everyone
it
says
is.
it differently.
Yeah, but and then really become the master of it. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs end up trying to do too much of everything. And what's that saying? The master
The
of
master of none.
Yeah, jack of all trades and master.
master of none,
Yeah.
right? And so even if you might have some skills in marketing or design and things like that, but maybe that's not your true.
Well, you've got to
Calling.
have the skills to back it up. But,
Yeah.
you know, when I got into real estate, they were like, well, you know, if someone asks you how long you've been in real estate, say something funny like, you know, oh, some days it feels like a day, some days it feels like 50 years. You know, I never really
Yeah.
know what's going on.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a way to fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
To get that experience, you know, it's a common question that, you know, business owners get all the time. How long have you been in business?
Yeah.
But and there's a big but, and I called her, and the big but doesn't have anything to do with anybody in here.
All right,
It's just
Peachy.
I called
Big but.
Christin yesterday, and I'm like, you know how we were talking about how people pretend to be somebody they aren't, and I'm looking at a piece of property that is really a commercial piece of property, and it has been for sale for over a year and hasn't sold, and it's not that much money considering where it is and what it is. And it's because a residential agent took the listing and listed it through FMLS and listed it completely wrong. And it looks like somebody's trying to sell a single wide trailer
Oh my gosh.
for $1.1 million.
Oh my goodness. That's ridiculous.
When in reality, it's a trailer park
Oh my gosh.
that produces income.
Wow.
And if you think I'm not going to talk to that owner the next week, you're crazy because
Yeah.
they need to know.
That's ridiculous.
They absolutely need to
They're
know.
doing them a disservice. For
horrible
sure.
because
Yeah.
they're not they're faking it. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
can I tell my story? Remember
your
the story about the guy that brought the clients out to the
tell
my
it.
God.
That was ridiculous.
I get a call from an agent and I knew the agency here locally, and it's not a commercial agency, it's a residential agency. And I had a business with 60 acres of land. It's a salvage yard with 60 acres of land. And he wanted to bring out some clients of his to look at it. And I could tell talking to the guy that he was not a commercial agent by any means. And he was kind of, I don't want to say in over his head, but he was in over his head. And so we show up out there, and his clients come, and they're in a truck, and they get out, and they're all in jeans and boots and that because, I mean, it's muddy.
Yeah.
And I kind of looked at the guy. He gets out, and he's in, like, it's in the wintertime, and he's in a long wool, like, trench coat
Oh God.
and a suit and in these beautiful leather dress shoes.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, hey, man, and I'm not going to use names. So, but I said, hey, man, it's your first time at a salvage yard? And he's like, why do you say that? And I'm like, well, you know, we're getting ready to go trounce around in mud for like 15, 20 minutes, right? He kind of looks at me and goes, I know what I'm doing. We'll be fine. So I'm out walking ahead with one of his clients, and the whole time he's back with the other two, and he's bitching. He's like, oh, my Italian-made leather dress shoes. You know, my Italian dress shoes, my custom-made suit. I'm ruining them. And he's just bitching the whole time, like 15 minutes out there.
Yeah.
We come back to the truck. I'm going to pull out some blueprints and stuff to look at and show him, and some engineered drawings and stuff. And turn around and look at him, and I'm like, hey, man, again, not using his name. Where's your Lexus at? And he gets this confused look on his face. He goes, my car, my baby. So he starts dialing on the phone. He was calling his wife. I call 911 to report a stolen car.
Stolen car.
And they're like, where are you at? And I gave them the address. They're like, oh, you're at such and such salvage yard. And I'm like, yeah. She goes, hey, tell your boy to talk to his lien holder. Yeah, he hadn't paid the payment on his car, and they repossessed it while we were out on the salvage yard.
That is crazy.
That's wild. I mean,
And he's like, "Oh man, that's only like one payment behind." And I'm like, "Dude, if you'd have bought that custom-made suit off the rack,
Right.
maybe you could afford to
Right.
make the payments on the car."
Ridiculous.
So,
Yeah. And what a waste of time. I mean, how annoying that, like, you're faking so much that you're wasting other people's time
Well,
to, like, possibly buy
how
business.
embarrassing
Obviously.
that your clients have to take you home because you call.
right?
Oh, my goodness.
I mean,
And then they called me.
Oh,
They called and said, "Hey, we may need to work with you on the next one." So,
yeah. Yeah.
um,
That's
So-
crazy.
Yeah, that's not.
that's beyond faking it. That's just lying.
that's
That's
faking
just
it
being-
and not making it.
Yeah.
Right.
I have a pretty funny story about showing houses one night. My clients left their car in front of a vacant house, and we went to go see other houses afterwards. And by the time we got back around to where their car was, there was an officer there trying to figure out why there was just a car left in front of this vacant house. One of the neighbors called about it.
Oh.
And I mean, obviously we weren't doing anything wrong.
Yeah.
There was no big deal, but yeah, that was pretty shocking to see
Yeah, it's
an
strange.
officer just hanging out, trying to see about this car.
Yeah. Crazy.
No crazy stories from you?
No. I haven't. No.
No.
I like got HIPAA shit to
Yeah.
be compliant with.
Yeah, you're good. You're good. So,
Any mastermind or networking fails?
Let me think about that. I don't know. And maybe that could be kind of our topic today is like how you market your business. And of course, a lot of business owners go straight to networking, like that grassroots, old school. Like you got to do it. You do. But like when you go to a networking group, representing yourself properly, and then finding the right type of people to network with. And there are like we don't let all businesses into our
no.
mastermind.
No, I mean, because it's a mastermind. You don't want to sound horrible, but it's one of those deals where you want somebody with you in the room that brings value
Yeah.
to the conversation. And Siri was talking back to me for some reason. I shut this thing
Yeah,
because she's
shut
stupid.
that. She's stupid.
Nosy.
Yes, she is.
Right?
So, yeah, I mean, you want people in the room that bring value to the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
People that have ideas that can help other people's businesses. And we had a guest in our one mastermind this week that she came in and she thought it was a networking group.
Right.
And I politely explained that that's not what it was, but that and when she started talking, and we had some great conversations with her. And when she left, she was like, "Man, I'm so glad that I came here, and I'm so glad that it wasn't a networking group."
Right. Because we actually share like struggles or ideas, especially if like she's new to the area. So we want to support her, and we actually care about other business owners that are in the area, not just showing up saying, "What can you give me? Like, what referrals can you give me?" Or expectation of referrals, but truly like, how do we grow our businesses in a way that they stay in business, right? And we can learn from each other's mistakes so we don't make those same
Or we
mistakes.
can learn from each other's
Successes.
the best
Exactly.
practice. Like you said, when we do the intro for this, it's best practices and worst practices and anything in between. But
And then, of course, the referrals come naturally.
Absolutely.
And
they're good referrals, not leads.
Yeah.
I could pay for leads
yeah,
all day.
So, I mean, here's where I'm coming from. I had never done a mastermind, and when you suggested we start one in Kennesaw with women, I was like all about it.
Yeah.
And I have been in tons of networking meetings and events and all kinds of stale, dry, super obvious, just obnoxious settings. I mean, there's some networking things that you have to show up.
Yeah.
And I found out today, you get penalized financially sometimes in these groups if you don't hit your goals of referrals or bringing a guest, and it's just so forced. And maybe that works for some people, but I think that the mastermind idea is the way of the future. You know,
Yeah.
we have the fast burns. We have, you know, there's people in the group. It's not a one seat per industry kind of situation. I have a chiropractor, you know, and I'm loyal to him, but that doesn't mean I can't help the chiropractor in our group build their business.
Right.
You know,
No,
I can still offer advice.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's what I love
you know
about
what?
it.
And when you go to a networking group, too, a lot of times, and I don't want to make this like a hammer networking groups because we know a lot of good people that do
Sure.
it. But
Yeah.
when you go to a networking group, you're expected to refer the people that are in the room. And like you said, a lot of times you've got these really great long-term relationships and so much trust with somebody else. How are you going to refer somebody over them just because they're sitting at a table
In the
paying
group. Yeah.
money to
Paying
be in
the
the
fee.
same room as you?
Exactly.
And so,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
So look, let's talk. I want to talk a little bit about what we're going to be doing with this podcast.
Yeah.
And so first and foremost, we're going to have some great guests on here. I'm already talking to some. Some will be local to the Atlanta area. Some will be national. We're going to try to have the people here in person every time. We did when we spent the money to buy all the stuff for in here. I got some cool technology that'll allow us to have people call in and not sound like they're on a phone. So if we do have somebody, I would love to have Douglas Thompson on from Pisidian at some point.
Yeah.
You know, I may try to get some folks on from some of the distilleries in Kentucky that we've built relationships with. You know, that'd all be fun. I want to have Jackie on from Urban Tree. I want to talk. I want to talk about the business of booze.
Yeah.
And but anybody that comes on this show, even if you're going to call in, I'm going to make them ship me a bottle or send me money and tell me what to buy.
Yeah.
But,
Good idea.
if you're going to be a guest on this show, it's expected that you bring a bottle of what you'd like to drink.
Yeah.
And so when our excellent guest postponed today, I was really disappointed because I would just say is Brandon Addison, who owns Low T Nation, and we really should be giving him a shout out anyhow because he's on the Square in Marietta and he is so integral to our success and to everything we do. He lets us use his venue, the Brick and Board, to hold our events and we're in his recording
us
studio.
here. Yeah.
We're in his recording studio now.
Yes, thank you.
In Marietta. And and Brandon's a big bourbon guy, so I'm excited. I feel like he's gonna come when he does the next show with us. That he's gonna bring an extra special bottle to make up for not being able to do it today.
I'm
so
sure
Brandon,
he will.
when you're listening to us, I want to see something from like the antique collection from Buffalo Trace, maybe.
I mean, you know, he's bummed out about missing out
For
on this.
sure.
He was looking forward to it.
Yes.
You know, we were talking to him yesterday after our mastermind, and he was just super excited. He's just he's a very busy professional.
Life
you know,
happens.
he walked in on the
Life
phone.
happens.
You know, he was trying to wrap up a conversation 20 minutes later. You know, he's in demand, and I get it. And I know it was a pretty important thing that he had to cancel for. So
So I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be a good one, and we're gonna get a lineup of some really good guests, and you know. So with that being said, since we found out that we were gonna be doing an intro show today without a proper guest, I stopped by the liquor store and I picked up a little something.
What'd you get?
Y'all need to finish what you're drinking. These are tequila girls, and I will be drinking some good tequila on here from time to time.
We like tequila.
And but today we're drinking whiskey because this is the first episode of Whiskey After Work.
Yes.
And I went and got a bottle. I don't know if we can see this and show it to the camera. A bottle of Heaven's Door, and this is just the basic straight bourbon whiskey. This is Bob Dylan's whiskey that is pretty much kicking everybody's ass right now.
it's a beautiful bottle.
This is a 96 rated bottle of whiskey. That is pretty damn high. And it is delicious. I just poured some. I've had a single barrel bottle of this sitting at the house, a store pick, for about 6 months, and I haven't opened it yet. And this is just the regular everyday, floats between $40 and $50 a bottle, depending on where you get it at. And y'all need to try this because it is delicious.
Mm-hmm.
You don't believe me, do you?
I believe you.
That's
I'm
right.
gonna finish
grab
my
that glass
tequila.
over there and pour you a little bit of
Okay.
that one.
Yeah. All right.
So, oh, and by the way, if you're ever going to be a guest on here, I am in the process of ordering some whiskey after work branded
Ooh.
tasting glasses, and if you come on the show, you will get to
You
go
get to
home
keep
with one of
one?
those.
That's a
you
cool
got your bottle of
gift.
water over there because I would recommend on this
Oh,
one
too
just putting a
much.
splash in there.
Ooh-wee.
Now, Doug, I need you to tell the people that are listening about what you use for the Whiskey After Work networking nights for the tastings.
What I use?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. So we're really having an
yes.
issue with people having
This is
big
hilarious.
glasses, and
Too much.
sometimes we'll have
They get
25
fun.
bottles up there that
Yeah,
you
you're
taste.
tasting 25 different.
Yeah, and so
Yeah.
we had to really restrict the volume that was being consumed, and I couldn't figure out what to do, and I
that is
got
good.
so I bought 1,000 little plastic communion cups. like-
Communion with whiskey.
and you
perfect.
know
We
what?
have
They work.
church.
It does. It works perfect.
It
And,
does.
And yeah, so it's kind of funny.
It is fun.
Yeah. So this today is Heaven's Door, just a regular straight bourbon whiskey. I'm
That is
assuming
good.
Kristen's just going to take our word for
You want
it.
to try it?
Let me
Try
smell
mine.
of it.
Smell
Yeah,
it and
take a
sip
little
it.
sip. There's enough alcohol in there to kill the cooties.
And I put water in it. That's good. That is good. I definitely am a tequila person, but that is a
yeah,
good one.
I love like aged tequilas. I
Yeah.
love them.
Mm-hmm.
But I also like a good bourbon, a good
That's
Scotch,
good.
a
Okay.
good Irish.
That's
All
good.
right. That's smooth.
That is sweet.
That is
Very
very
smooth. And it's
smooth.
sweet.
Yeah.
It's almost like
This-
caramel.
It
this Might be
Mm-hmm.
this might be one of my new favorites.
It's like a
I like
smoky
everyday
caramel.
ones, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, like watering it down is just a little
Perfect.
bit. It does.
Well, you
make a
should.
difference.
That opens it up a little bit too.
I never knew that.
Yeah, you put a little dropper or two, and there's a couple of really good documentaries that are worth watching if you're getting into it. I think one's called The Perfect Dram. It's about Scotch. And the other one is called Neat, a bourbon story.
Cool.
And I think one is on Amazon Prime and one is on Netflix. But both of them worth your time. You learn a lot about the whiskey, and you learn about putting a couple drops of distilled or like spring water, branch water, bottled water.
Nice.
It opens it up a little bit. And you can taste a little bit more of the flavors. It's easier to nose.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's a pretty good bourbon. I like it.
That is good.
Would
I really
definitely
like
give
that
this one
too.
2 thumbs up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so as we put this out, it's very important. We're going to be it's going to launch on Spotify with video. And then it's going to go out to all the other podcasting platforms with audio.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll probably start a YouTube channel too. Put the video up on there. But it's real important that we get subscribers on Spotify.
Yes.
Very important. And that's how we're going to be able to pay for this mess.
Mm-hmm.
And so the first level of really starting to be able to get some advertising from Spotify is 50 subscribers.
Yeah.
So I am going to donate a bottle to give away to the 50th subscriber when they finally subscribe.
I think it should be not this exact bottle, but our very first bottle of the show.
I love that idea.
Yeah, I do
Yeah.
too, because it's cheaper than the bottle I was going to
There
give.
we
And
go.
we'll save the more expensive
There we
bottle
go.
for more subscribers.
Yes, exactly. So they'll be
So,
in the running
yeah.
for the drawing,
So if
the first 50.
if you subscribe on Spotify
Mm-hmm.
and with the 50th subscriber, I will reach out to them, try to message them through Spotify app, and as long as you're over 21,
Yes.
I am going to gift you. I'm not selling this, so the liquor man's listening, tax man's listening.
It's a gift.
It is a gift. I'm going to gift you a bottle of Heaven's Door,
Yeah.
and it is delicious.
It is great. That's a good one.
So, and then we'll see. As we get to more listeners, more subscribers, there'll be other contests. The bottles will go
Yeah.
up in
Maybe
in
a flask.
rarity. Yeah, I've got some flasks and stuff
Those are
too.
fun.
But There'll be some allocated bottles, but again, it'll only be to people who are over 21, and
Yes.
it'll only be a gift.
That's right. That's right.
So,
And if you want to be a guest on our show and come talk about your business,
yeah,
reach out to us.
Yeah, so I meant to do this today, and I just was not having a good day. I completely forgot.
Yeah.
I
You're being a baby.
will have a Whiskey After Work Gmail account,
Perfect.
but I got to figure out which one they'll give to me. So
Okay.
I probably could do that.
So as far as celebrity guests go, when will Chris Pratt be on?
Well, what is your fascination with this
Jeez
guy?
Louise.
Oh, come on. I'm
He's a-
so
I like
excited
it.
about
I
the
want Channing
Guardians of-
Tatum, but unfortunately, I lost a lot of respect for him because that movie last night
Oh,
sucked.
yeah. Why don't you tell him what?
We went to go see Channing Tatum. What was it? Magic Mike 3. We had high
XL or whatever.
XXL.
It was
High hopes.
disappointing.
Very disappointing. Good thing I had quite a few martinis because that kept me sane. That movie was
It kept
horrible.
us entertained.
Yeah, it did. Good
yeah,
thing.
it was not good. It
No.
was, and it was a late
Super
showing. And we
annoying.
were almost the only ones in the theater. There
Almost.
was a row behind us.
a couple back
I'm
there. I'm not
surprised
sure what they were doing.
I'm surprised they didn't come yell at us a few times because we were
No.
getting pretty
Yeah.
rowdy. It was
A little
fun.
loud. A little loud.
But we
but-
did that studio movie grill where they bring the food to you,
Mm-hmm.
and then our friend Dawn parachuted in from her adventures across the country.
Yes. Yes.
With her luggage in tow, and
Yes.
perfect way to arrive to Atlanta.
That was great. That was great.
But yeah, the movie.
Not great.
But
Ah.
but like I said, when Chris Pratt gets signed up, let me know.
I will let you know.
I saw the new Guardians of the Galaxy trailer at the Super Bowl. It looks so good.
Mm-hmm.
They have done such a good job with those movies.
Those are good movies. I agree. So you're making a Gmail. I don't know why you're doing that right now, but
Because
okay.
I'm going to tell you what. Done.
Done. What's the name of it?
Whiskey After Work Podcast
At
at
gmail.com.
gmail.com.
Yeah, all right.
Boom.
Boom.
Boom. Just like that.
Don't
And,
drop the mic.
No, please don't.
Yeah.
These were expensive, right?
Yeah, they weren't cheap.
They weren't cheap. So that's why we're doing this, because we want to highlight business owners.
Well, best practices. I want.
Yeah,
this,
we
I
wanna
this
learn
to
from
be-
you.
Yeah, I want people to come up with great ideas for their business. Maybe
Yeah.
they'll hear something or it'll inspire them, or better yet, maybe they'll hear something and say, "I've got a story to tell."
Yes.
And then they'll email me at whiskeyafterworkpodcast at gmail.com, and we'll get you on the show. But
I
yeah,
like it. I think it's a very exciting way to share ideas, practices, highlight other business owners with no judgment. I think that's a big part of this, is like the reason we can sit around and drink and bullshit and talk is because there is no judgment, and we could be real and raw with each other and really get down to like what makes us work in our business and what just we enjoy doing, like share that with each other. Because that's who you end up referring business to, are the people that you could just get along with and spend time with and get to know the real them.
Yep.
Because the stiff, boring stuff doesn't work for us.
The trust and relationships. There's just nothing that is a substitute
Yeah.
for getting to know somebody and building a good relationship.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's in everything you do, listening to what somebody else has got to say, hearing where they came from. You don't always have to agree with them, but man, you
Absolutely.
might actually learn something that's helpful.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And small businesses need to support each other. So this is another great way to show that support.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Anything to add?
I really appreciate you guys letting me be a part of this. I know I
Oh,
kind
we're
of crashed it a little bit, but
I'm glad you
as soon
did.
as I realized that she could do shit we don't want
Because
to
you
do.
knew that I wasn't going to do shit for this.
I
like,
mean-
I'll just show up and talk with my sexy voice, but,
When are you going to start using that one?
Where is it? Let me pull it out of my back pocket.
Yeah, I'm hiding it in my prison wallet.
oh my God. What movie was that on?
Guardians of the Galaxy.
That's right.
Oh
it
my
was
gosh.
Deadpool.
Oh,
It
how
was
much
the
do you
second
really
one.
love Christin?
Okay.
I
Ryan
love
Reynolds would be
Deadpool.
a runner-up for a
Yeah.
guest as well. I would.
Yeah.
His voice. Oh,
You have a thing with voices.
He's really busy.
I do.
He's really
His
busy
voices
right
are-
now, though. He's running a soccer team now.
You're
Busy
too
running
far.
around in my
Get
head.
up on it.
Get up
What'd
on
you
it.
say?
He's running a soccer team.
Oh,
Which
he and
one?
another guy bought Wrexham, like a fifth level English premier or English team.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's again. I think there's like a Hulu or somebody has got like a docu-series on it now. Welcome to
Interesting.
Wrexham. So, all right, with that, I think we're going to finish up for today. And thanks
Yeah.
for hanging out and introducing yourself. And Kristen, thanks for being on. And
yes. Thanks.
Absolutely.
Don, the accountant, has been sitting over here watching us the whole
Laughing
time.
at
Yeah.
our ridiculousness.
Telling us to get up on the microphone.
Get up on it.
Getting all
And,
her work done
yeah.
over there. Super productive day.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Definitely.
All right.
Uh,
See
This
you
is
all in
gonna
a
be
couple of
fun.
weeks.
talk to you soon.